California, the 1970s, a time of freedom, exploration, and cultural transformation. But hidden within its golden sunsets and iconic highways lurked shadows of unspeakable horrors. Today we journey into the mind and crimes of one such shadow, the co-ed killer, Edmund Kemper. Born in 1948 in Burbank, California, Edmund Kemper's early life was fraught with dysfunction. Towering over his peers even as a child, his physical size often belied his inner vulnerabilities. Much of his tumultuous childhood revolved around his relationship with his mother, Clarnell. Their relationship was, by many accounts, abusive and deeply troubled. The harbingers of Kemper's violence appeared early. By age 15, the tensions within his family reached a tragic climax. In a shocking act, he took the lives of his grandparents, saying later he just wanted to see what it felt like. Kemper was sent to a juvenile facility. His high IQ and cunning allowed him to navigate the system effectively, eventually leading to his release at age 21. The early 70s saw students and young people hitchhiking as a primary mode of transportation. It was an era of trust, a trust that Kemper would exploit. Between May 1972 and April 1973, 6 young women would meet a grim fate at the hands of Kemper. Each story is chillingly similar, accepting a ride, a friendly conversation, and then darkness. One of them is Maud Matilda Huey Kemper and Edmund Emil Kemper II in 1964. At the age of 15, Edmund Kemper's violent tendencies manifested in the murder of his grandparents. On August 27, 1964, while residing at his grandparents' farm in North Fork, California, he got into an argument with his grandmother, Maud. Acting impulsively, Kemper shot her in the kitchen with a rifle his grandfather had given him for hunting. Fearing the reaction of his grandfather, Edmund Emil Kemper II, he decided to kill him too. When his grandfather returned from grocery shopping, Kemper met him outside and shot him dead. Following the killings, he phoned his mother, who advised him to call the local police. He was arrested and later diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia. After his release from the California Youth Authority at 21, Kemper, emboldened by fantasies, began targeting young women hitchhikers. On May 7, 1972, he picked up 2 Fresno State students, Mary Ann Peace and Anita Luchessa, who were hitchhiking to Stanford University. Instead of taking them to their destination, Kemper drove to a remote area. He locked one woman in the trunk, then turned his attention to the other. Overpowering Pesh, he took her life first, and then did the same to Luchessa. He subsequently took the bodies to his mother's home in Aptos, where he dismembered them. The remains of Pesh were later found on Loma Prieta Mountain, but Luchessa's remains were never recovered. On January 7, 1973, Kemper picked up 18-year-old Cindy Schall, intending to show her the areas affected by recent floodwaters. However, after driving around for several hours, he shot her in the head while they were parked in a wooded area. He placed her body in the trunk of his car and drove back to his mother's house, where he decapitated her in the bathroom, used her severed head for a perverse act, and then dismembered her body in the bathtub. He later discarded her remains in the cliffs of the nearby coastline. Parts of her body were discovered by hikers several weeks later. In total, Edmund Kemper killed 10 people, including his grandparents, 6 young women, his mother, and one of her friends. His confession and willingness to divulge graphic details of his crimes stunned authorities and the public alike. Today, his crimes remain some of the most studied in the annals of criminal psychology. Again, while it's crucial to present the facts, it's equally essential to approach such topics with the utmost respect and sensitivity for the victims and their families. To the surprise of authorities, Kemper confessed to all his crimes. He described them in chilling detail, leaving no stone unturned. During the trial, his calm and articulate recounting of his heinous acts stunned both the public and professionals alike. Convicted for the murders, Kemper was sentenced to life in prison, avoiding the death penalty due to its suspension in California at that time. The legacy of Edmund Kemper is a haunting testament to the complex interplay of mind, environment, and choices that shape a killer. His story, a dark chapter in the annals of true crime, reminds us to always be cautious, even in the most unsuspecting of places. Thank you for joining us. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth explorations.